The New York Giants are being linked to a huge free agency addition. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please just take a quick second, like and subscribe. I'm trying to build an awesome community of Giants fans here. So don't miss out on that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the community will get even bigger and even better. Also, comment below. We still haven't gotten official coordinators yet for John Harbaugh. Let me know, who do you want on offense and on defense to be our coordinators. Like I said, I like the community here. I like talking things out and bouncing ideas off each other in the comment section. So please comment below and be a part of that. Obviously, John Harbaugh has come to town. Big changes are coming, both in like the mentality, the structure of what's going on in New York, and I think we expect to see a lot of roster turnover as well. He said he wants players who absolutely love football, and I love that from him, and I think it puts some players like, Abdul Carter and Deonte Banks on notice, players who have kind of been rumored to not be giving their all. And I think we also can expect him to bring in some of his own guys from Baltimore, and it sounds like the Giants are already being linked to a few of them. The biggest one, though, is I'm going to give a few of them, but the one I want to start off with is center Tyler Linderbaum from the Baltimore Ravens, obviously. So Connor Hughes is reporting that the Giants are expected to be aggressive in targeting former Ravens in free agency. Harbaugh wants culture carriers, players who already speak his language and can translate it to a locker room that is in desperate need of a spark. And then he specifically listed Linderbaum as a player to keep an eye on in free agency, and as Harbaugh is expected to target him and other ex-Ravens. And if you don't know a ton about Tyler Linderbaum, he's only 25 years old. And looking at like the top centers here, this is the Pro Football Focus center rankings. They have him as the number 2 center in the NFL, behind only Creed Humphrey. And what's interesting about him, and I think a lot of people instantly are kind of giving him a red flag, because the Ravens did not pick up his 5th-year option. And generally, when you have a player who you don't think is very good, you don't pick up their 5th-year option. Like, if you're unfamiliar with that, first-round picks are guaranteed 4 years under contract, and then the team, before their 4th season, has to decide, do you want them for a 5th year, or do you want to cut ties with them after the 4th season? Generally, if it's a great player, you want that 5th year still on the rookie contract before you have to give them their big money. But for centers, it is a little bit different, because the offensive line is a unique position group where tackles make a lot more money than interior offensive linemen. And so the way the 5th-year option work and the franchise tag works is they're grouped together as one position group. So you get paid based off of what the top offensive linemen are making. And so for a center, he's going to get paid what the top offensive tackles are making. And so for his 5th-year option, it would have been $23.4 million. And you can also look here, it talks about why they're not going to pick up his franchise tag. And it says the Ravens declined his 5th-year option for the same reason the franchise tag isn't a possibility. All offensive linemen are the same in the eyes of the 5th-year option and the franchise tag, and it would make him the highest paid center by $4 to $5 million per year. They want to have him back, but obviously they can't pay him $4 to $5 million more than the next highest paid player at that position. He's being speculated to make about $17.7 million is his expected annual value, according to Spotrac, who's kind of like the leader in the contract speculation game, which is Creed Humphrey right now makes $18 million per season, so it's right there with him, and that's why the $23 million of the 5th-year option or the franchise tag just doesn't really make sense for him. So he's going to be a free agent. They're not going to do that. And I'd imagine he's going to want to pair with Harbaugh. And it sounds like the Ravens could be having some big-time changes. There's been rumors about maybe Lamar Jackson being traded. Derrick Henry's getting a little older. They're going to have a new coach. It's like, do you want to join a team or do you want to re-sign with the team that you don't really know what is happening? Or do you want to join your old coach in a system that you know, where you know he's going to want to run the ball, you know how he's going to use you? And I think that's an obvious decision for him. And I know, like, looking at the money, left and right tackles are valued a lot more than interior offensive linemen, but that doesn't mean that these guys aren't valuable. One team I kind of look at as like a blueprint is, if you look at the Chicago Bears from this last year, they had decent tackle production in 2024, but then they went out and they got Joe Thuney, they got Drew Dolman. He, I think, if you look, is the number 5 rated center on this same website, and they boosted that interior of their offensive line. And if you look at the statistics, we'll pull up 2024 regular season first. The Bears were a bottom 10 rushing team, right near where the Giants are. But then you go to 2025, they boost that interior offensive line, and all of a sudden, they are the number 3 running team in the NFL. And the Ravens with Tyler Linderbaum are number 2. The Giants were top 5 largely because of Jackson Dart and what he was able to do for the running game. But just imagine if you boost this interior offensive line with one of the best run-blocking centers in the NFL, maybe the best. His pass protection isn't perfect, but in terms of run blocking, he is elite in every facet of the game. And so if you add that to Cam Skattebo and Jackson Dart and Tyrone Tracy, this is going to be the best rushing attack in the NFL. And Jackson Dart, he already showed he can survive without Malik Neighbors. He can survive with, different coaches, this and that. But if you give him an elite running game and you give him Neighbors and Wandale and Slayton and I'll get into some other potential opportunities here in a second, this could be a truly, truly elite offense. So I would love to see them go after Linderbaum. And then some of the other guys that are being linked to them are Draymond Jones. He's a D tackle. Patrick Ricard could be a guy who, fullbacks don't get a lot of love. But if you want to have an elite ground and pound game with Skattebo and Dart, having a big-time fullback like Patrick Ricard could be huge. And then Isaiah Likely was the other one who I was going to mention. He's an unrestricted free agent. And the Giants are going to want to utilize those 2 tight end sets. It's tough to know, if they have Theo Johnson and Bellinger, it's hard to imagine them going after Likely, but there were rumors about Bellinger getting cut coming into this year. It wouldn't be a huge surprise to see him go and Isaiah Likely come in and be that second tight end in the offense. And then personally, as a Michigan fan, I don't know if you can see my Michigan shirt, David Ojabo, love the guy coming off the edge. I don't think he makes a ton of sense with the current iteration of this roster, but there's been a lot of talk about, you got Burns, you got Abdul Carter, you got Thibodeau, 3 edge rushers, 2 edges. There was a lot of playing guys out of position last year, and it left them gashed in the running game. Do you potentially trade Kayvon Thibodeau for a second-round pick this year and use that pick on more of a position of need? I think if you do that, then David Ojabo as a third-down edge rushing specialist makes a ton of sense. But if they're keeping Kayvon Thibodeau, then I don't think it makes a lot of sense to go after David Ojabo. So we'll see what happens there. Comment below, what are your thoughts on Kayvon Thibodeau right now? Do you... I know we all, a lot of us have a very high opinion of him. I think he's a very good player. But with Abdul Carter, with Brian Burns, could the Giants be better off with a second-round pick? It's an interesting debate. You guys comment below. Let me know what you think. I think, personally, this team has bigger needs, and as much as I like Kayvon, I think it could be worthwhile to trade him if you can get at least a second. If you can only get a third or fourth, that's a no for me. But if you can get a second and use that on like a good wide receiver, good linebacker, good secondary player, and then maybe sign like a David Ojabo to be that third edge rusher. I think that's a win for the Giants. But you guys let me know what you think. I'm always open to other opinions in the comments. And then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.